Hi, I'm Manu Sharma. Lately, it seems like in every boardroom, every leadership meeting, there's this one question that just keeps popping up. It's the question that really defines this exact moment we're all in.
Leaders are constantly asking me, Manu, where does AI fit in our strategy? They're looking for a map, a simple framework to just plug it into. And look, it's a totally natural place to start. But what I've learned is that it might be the wrong question entirely. Because the deeper I get into this work, the clearer it becomes that AI doesn't just slot neatly inside some strategy document. No, it sits beneath it. It actually reaches way down into the very assumptions, the priorities, and all those quiet choices that shape how an organization decides what truly matters. Here's what I mean. AI is basically forcing strategy to grow up. For years, we've gotten used to this balancing act, right? Performance, risk, value. But AI? AI demands something more. Something that, honestly, most of us just aren't prepared for. And that's philosophical precision. Suddenly, every single initiative, every project, becomes a direct, undeniable reflection of your core intent.
You see, the most sophisticated approaches I've witnessed don't even begin with the technology, not at all. They start with a really brutally honest conversation about what role intelligence should even play in the organization. It's a huge shift from just building tools to actually shaping intelligent systems that reflect your mission, your values. So it's not a plan, it's a commitment to purposeful design.
And this brings us to a really critical realization. AI acts like this powerful, totally unflinching mirror. It doesn't invent new problems. What it does is ruthlessly expose every single unresolved tension, every contradiction that's already lurking inside your strategy. Think about it like this. Every algorithm you deploy, it becomes a strategic actor inside your company. It's not some passive tool just sitting there. It is actively influencing decisions, it's interpreting information, it's guiding behavior. And if you don't anchor it to a crystal clear purpose, well, it's going to drift. It'll just optimize for the easiest path, not necessarily the right one. So what does this mirror actually show you? Well, if your mission is kind of vague, then your AI will be just as vague. I mean, it can only be as clear as the direction you give it. Simple as that. And what if you struggle with making those tough trade-offs? Then your AI isn't going to solve that for you. It's only going to amplify those internal struggles. I actually saw this firsthand with a huge retailer. They had two competing goals: slash inventory costs and maximize customer choice. But they never explicitly chose which one was more important. So they deployed an AI to manage stock. And what happened? It amplified their indecision across thousands of stores. See, AI doesn't wait for clarity. It demands it. Now, this is a pretty significant challenge, for sure, but it is not impossible. In fact, what I've seen is that the really high-performing organizations, they separate themselves from everyone else by making three critical grounding moves. So first, they define the intended contribution of their AI with absolute, painstaking precision. Second, they make their strategic trade-offs explicit, no hiding. And third, they meticulously design the feedback loops to keep the whole system aligned for the long haul. And that first step is just so crucial. Defining the contribution isn't about listing a bunch of features, it's about articulating the fundamental shift you're trying to create. Are you using AI for scale, to make sharper decisions, to drive more consistency? Or maybe the real goal is to free up your people for higher value, uniquely human work. The clarity of that intention, well, it determines everything that follows. The other piece of this is that AI is just not a set it and forget it kind of thing. Your strategy has to be a living anchor. Because without those feedback loops keeping it aligned, your AI can easily become a kind of shadow strategist, just operating on old assumptions and drifting further and further away from what really matters. What I've really come to appreciate through all of this is that AI isn't just a technological challenge. It's actually an incredible opportunity, a chance to go back and revisit the very fundamentals of strategy itself. It forces us to ask these incredibly profound questions. It challenges us to draw a bright, bold line with real intention between what we can automate and what we absolutely must protect as deeply, deeply human. The organizations that are going to thrive in this new era, they aren't going to be the fastest. They're going to be the wisest. They're the ones taking strategy back to its roots. They'll have the courage to actually slow down to ask better questions. They'll choose clarity over speed, and they will design intelligent systems that serve their values instead of competing with them.
And maybe that brings us to the quiet, strategic truth of this moment we're in. AI doesn't create a new direction for your organization. It just sharpens the one that's already there. It's an incredibly powerful amplifier of your leadership's intent, whatever that intent happens to be. It demands that we name our priorities with honesty, and then go and build systems that reinforce them with total consistency. In a very, very real way, AI turns our purpose into architecture.
So, when strategy meets AI, the organizations that win are going to be the ones that remember this simple truth, that intelligence, whether it's human or machine, is only as powerful as the clarity that guides it. The future belongs to those who can align purpose, technology, and human judgment with both discipline and courage. And that, I believe, is the real strategy work of our time. So let me ask you, what direction is AI sharpening in your organization?